Mr. Diddy.
Today, I'm joined by one of my friends, brother John, and we're gonna have a nice little discussion. I just got to make sure I get his mic up. I don't know what's going on with the mic. I need to go back and check some stuff. Let's see. All right. I'm gonna throw on. Hey, I got my virtual cable open. Why is it not working? Virtual cable output. Output virtual window WhatsApp. Should it be on that? Let's try that. Go ahead, say something, John. Nope, not yet. All right, let's see. Virtual cable. Where you at? Virtual cable. Why it's not working? I don't understand. Cable output audio. Try it now. Nothing at all. What's going on here? All right. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to run this. So I'm gonna put all y'all on commercial break real quick while I work some magic. Hold on, John.
I am a Gye-Nyame man. I was born for greatness. My greatness comes from my potent center. I pledge to find and connect with my center. I pledge to build my spirit, mind, and body. I pledge to use my hands to build a better world for myself, my loved ones, and my community. I pledge to use my mind to think deeper, further, and higher to create a better reality for myself. I pledge to live my life and go beyond all my self-imposed limitations. I pledge to promote the principles of the Gye-Nyame warrior and to assist all those seeking the path of success. I pledge all these things first to myself, my teachers, to all my relations, and to my higher power. I am Gye-Nyame. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. That is the Gye-Nyame pledge that is said by all of our true members at least once a day. Peace and welcome to our YouTube channel. Check out our videos and podcasts. Subscribe as well as join the journey. Push past your self-imposed limitations within the Gye-Nyame journey. Peace.
Too black, too strong.
Check 1, 2, check. We back up. Can you hear me, John?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, they can hear you good. Yeah. All right. So now, this right here is my brother John. I'll have him tell you a little bit about himself. Me and him have good conversation. He be always posting me up on some of the books. So when y'all see me jumping in the ice cold water, this is one of the persons that introduced me to the concept and to the person that is doing it. So he's always on the cutting edge and always doing research. And he will be one of the people that will be joining us as we are doing the 21 week warrior training, right? So some of the information that you be hearing come from me come from some of the books that this brother suggests. So if you would, John, go on, let the people know a little bit about you.
I don't know. I like to read. I like to...
All right. Where you at right now?
City of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia.
All right, cool. If people wanted to get with you, is there an email address or something they can hit you up with? Or you just one of those that like to stay in the shadows?
I'm going to stay in the shadow for right now.
All right, cool. So we was having a conversation, and you was telling me about the latest book that you was reading called Habit Stacking.
Habit Stacking, 127 small changes to improve your health, wealth. Forgot the third one.
All right, don't worry about that. So it's Habit Stacking. They can find that. I'm gonna check it out and see if it's on Audible. You know,
Scott's name is S.J. Scott.
S.J. Scott, a book by a brother, brother named by the name of S.J. Scott. And what struck you about this book? Because we're gonna get into a lot of stuff. Y'all got to understand this is somebody I conversate with, so y'all can expect for us to go from here to the edge of the galaxy and be able to bring it all the way back to the point. So what sparked you about this book? What excited you about this book? Why do you suggest that people read this book?
I just think that, well, the thing about it is that, you know, if we all are our habits, it's like there's a lot of us because people realize that they have bad habits. And where I live in Philadelphia, you can see half of my neighborhood, people are working out and taking care of themselves, and they're walking and they're running. And the other half is not taking care of themselves. The part that's not taking care of themselves is the black side. The side that is taking care of themselves is the white side. See what I'm saying?
Right.
And so, for me, I know that habits, the patterns of things that we do every single day, that's the most powerful aspect to me of who we are as human beings. We are pattern machines. We interpret patterns in the world, and then we follow patterns in ourselves.
Okay, go ahead. So what do you say to somebody be like, yo, man, that sounds kind of robotic? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, you know, because I agree with the idea, because in African Openness to the Tree of Life, one of the favorite books that I always refer to when I'm talking, they say that the best life is achieved by engagement with systematic process. But what do you say to somebody that'll be like, oh man, that sound like some robot shit. I don't want to get into planning my days and stuff like that. How do you address that?
Well, the thing about that is that you're already a robot.
What?
You're already following a pattern of behavior. You can't not follow a pattern of behavior. Like, there's no way around it. If you're a human being, you're caught in a pattern. You're waking up at certain times. You're going to bed at certain times. You're hanging out with certain people. You hang out with them during certain times of the week. You've already fallen into a pattern. It's just a matter if you're going to be aware of your pattern. And then if you like your pattern, keep it going. But if you want to go to your highest level, you're going to have to make adjustments in your pattern.
So for those people who saying, man, I don't want to get all into that regimented robotic shit. I want to be able to free flow. You know what I'm saying? What is the relationship to setting up these patterns and this whole freestyle, this whole free flow thing?
See, now this is a thing. I think one of the things that I'm thinking about, which is that you have by the time you wake up and before you go to bed, to the time you go to bed, you got a certain amount of energy in your mind and your body. Now, if you're not comfortable with where your life is going, then at least some of that mental and physical energy needs to be pointed towards the changes that you're trying to make. I'm always saying this for people that want their life to change. If you're comfortable with your life, then you just keep doing what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the thing that struck me about this book, like I was telling you before, was because with human beings in a situation that is, our mind and body tends to fall into patterns the more we repeat stuff over time. Take advantage of that. So we're already on autopilot one way or another. And that's what I mean, I think, when I say somebody's a robot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like you're already on autopilot. If you don't like where the autopilot is leading the plane, then make an adjustment to the autopilot. Being regimented is not really, it's not like you're really sitting there marking your clock, okay, this time I do this at this time. Like, once you start repeating a different type of pattern, it's like when I started drinking water seriously, first I had to think about drinking water. Like the first month, I was thinking, damn, I gotta make sure I drink some water. Now I'm just drinking like 3 gallons of water a week, and I'm not even thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
just, I don't have to tell myself to drink water. I just find myself drinking water. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Keep it hydrated. I feel you. But it was something that you had to say.
Yeah, in fact, that's what happens. My body actually says,
Zavi, welcome to the ranks. My name is August, and the
hold
two
on.
of them, they're Julie and Mai. Zavi begins to think,
Clean it!
even though these people are using aliases, they're not bothering to even hide that fact. But they must have a deep trust in Mattias to
Sorry, we had a little interruption. My son had his Bluetooth. You still there?
yeah.
All right, cool. So you were saying, go if you could remember.
No, but I mean, it's like I guess the thing about it is that when I read this book, this guy has developed like all these different habits that he's slowly incorporated into his day, and then he was talking to his friends, and then all of his friends were like, "Oh man, that sounds like so complicated. It sounds like you're spending all your time trying to build all these patterns into your day. It just sounds like so much of energy drain." And he's like, in fact, it's the exact opposite. I'm on cruise control all day. And so then what I do with my mental energy is that I use it to focus on the things that I want to really accomplish. And see, that's what I'm talking about. It's like, I want to take like drinking water and the healthy things I need to do with myself, and I don't want them front most in my mind. I want all that stuff on automatic pilot so that I can just be focusing on the ideas I want to build, the relationships I want to build, the things that I want to create in my world. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. All right. So now, another interesting piece that you spoke about was like a chart. You gave me like a chart for mastery, moving towards mastery. When you take something and you lock it in, so you gave a chart. Can you describe that chart? You know what I'm talking about?
What do you mean the chart?
Unconscious, incompetent.
Oh, the achieve mastery. I mean, they talk about this whole 10,000 hours thing, and that's a debate on what that really is. But 4 stages to becoming a master of something. You start out with unconscious incompetence, which is basically like, let's say you want to box. If you want to be a boxer and your unconscious incompetence is you jump into the ring, you don't know anything about throwing a punch, you don't know about ring strategy, and you don't even know that there is ring strategies and all these different things. So you're unconsciously and you're incompetent. You don't know anything and you don't even know what you're supposed to know. So now you've been training a little bit and you're starting to see that there's certain types of punches or certain type of ways to avoid getting hit. But you're not any good. But you're conscious. But you're still incompetent because you haven't developed any skills. But now you keep on training and now you really develop some skill. So now you're conscious and you're competent because you also develop skills. So you know what you're supposed to be doing and you know how to do what you're supposed to be doing. But mastery is that you train yourself to a point where you don't even have to think about, oh, time to punch here, time to dodge here, step back here, step forward here. It's all in the background. You're unconsciously competent. You have the skill, but you don't have to think about it anymore.
So what's important about mastery?
I mean, if you don't want to do anything with your life, then it's not important at all. But if you want to be at your best for this one life that we have, because we don't know what happens after, we can debate about that. But the one life that we know that we do have, we want to be the best in that life. You want to master as many things you can master, because that's how if you want to be a really good writer, you're going to have to spend a whole bunch of time working on your writing. I mean, if you want to be a good anything, you're just going to have to train, you're going to have to develop. Now, if you don't want to be good at anything, I guess it really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But if you want to be good at something, it's like you're going to have to go through those stages. And if you want to be good enough so that you can really have an impact on the world, or so that people can give you money, you're going to have to be good enough where it's like, for me, I started screenwriting when I was still out there in Ohio. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I had a couple books, but I didn't know anything. It took me, now mind you, I was self-taught. It took me till sometime, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, before I really hit a place where I have people in the industry that were like, okay, right now you're writing at a professional level. But that was the better part of 10 years to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So it's like,
because
a lot of people get caught up in the 10,000 hours and they want to see how long that takes and they want to sit down and they want to do it. But it's just a matter of just jumping in, doing it, making it a habit, making it an unconscious thing that you do. Getting up writing, getting up working out, so that you have to expend almost zero mental energy in developing. You know,
what's the concept in Chinese culture? Wu Wei.
Mm-hmm.
It's a combination of Wu Wei is a master's way, right? It's a combination of supreme action and supreme inaction. And what is supreme inaction and supreme action combined? It's like you're moving with power and effectiveness, but it's so deeply ingrained to your system that it's just like when you're talking about when the lion comes up over you on the savannah, you gotta be ready. You gotta just be ready to act.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's like 4 guys are surrounding you and they're gonna, swing their sword at you at the same time. And you're a martial arts master. It's like you can't think, what am I gonna do with these 4 different situations? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta have a thought of, I gotta have a move that takes me out of the range of, I gotta attack somebody, but I gotta be moving away as I'm attacking. You know what I mean? It's like you gotta, and all that's gotta, it can't be like a thought, because by then you're just slicing and
Sliced
dicing
up.
and cut the pieces, right?
Right.
You're like, boom, oh, you came like this, boom, how come I like that? You know what I'm saying?
Right. So it's sort of like because like I want a lot of people that's listening to understand that mastery is a way down the road in anything that we do, but there is a certain level of proficiency, and I think you called it conscious competence, that you can reach by practicing for about 20 days. You become conscious and competent in almost any skill by practicing and applying yourself for 20 days. And what we're saying is that by applying yourself, right, by taking that first step and applying yourself, what you do is you give yourself an opportunity to be able to start pushing this stuff to a point to where it's automatic. It's automatic. So in martial arts, they teach you. I remember my martial art instructor, he would come in and he would train us in our fighting stance, and he would say it in such a way that it would be shocking. You know what I'm saying? And we would automatically react. So up until this day, if somebody jump out and say boo, even though I done took tens of, I ain't gonna say thousands, but a lot of different martial arts skill, I always drop down in the initial one that was embedded in me because I spent 2 years with these people yelling at me like this. So whenever somebody say boo, I'm not going to capoeira, I'm not going to some of the wrestling out there, I'm not going to the jiu-jitsu, I'm not going to the keto, I'm going to what has been ingrained into me naturally. And I'm dropping right down in the fighting stance that I learned in the first martial art I took, which is Taekwondo. Now I can adjust it but once that initial shock happened, there's no thought. You know what I'm saying? I get to a point where there's no thought, right? So, and this is where we're talking about getting our people, right? Those people that belong to our tribe. You brought up another point. You said tribe is a habit. Can you explain what you mean by that?
I mean, for me, that just comes from living in the different places that I've lived. When I lived with white people, I lived with black people, I lived with Asian people, and I lived with Latino people. And living with people, I mean, when I primarily lived with mostly black people and to some degree white folks, I had a certain perspective, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But particularly when I moved out to and I have friends of different backgrounds, out here on the west, on the East Coast. But when I moved into a neighborhood where I was explicitly around Asian folks, and then when I lived in another neighborhood where I was explicitly around Latinos, I just saw that there was different rhythms. Like, we all say that we're friends, but some people have an idea of friendship where I'm your friend, we might talk once or twice a year, but we're friends, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Some people haven't thought we're friends, we talk every single day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My experience has been living in different groups of people so for example, I remember going to Mexico, into this poor village in Mexico. And I'm looking at these people, and they're so poor. But at the same time that they're so poor, they seem so much more at ease and so much happier than almost anybody that I ever met here in the United States. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, how is this possible? Like, you guys don't have anything, but you guys just seem so much more peaceful and just, like, you have stuff that you need, but you're not just bound. But what they had, I realized, was community. Like, they were, like, in fact, it was like this village that me and my boy Gustavo ended up in. Like, we're at this village, like, we heard Ludacris. Like I'm not in the middle of Mexico, but I'm in northern Mexico, but I'm like 150 miles into Mexico. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And we're hearing this music, and it's from a distance, and I'm like, that sounds like ludicrous. And my boys were like, man, you crazy. It's like, that ain't ludicrous, man. We in Mexico. But we keep on going, and then it was ludicrous. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we end up in this village, like the small little Mexican town, and the whole town is like a Sunday night, and the whole town is like having a party. You know what I'm saying? Like the old people to the young people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it was just chill. And they were poor, and it just, I don't know, but they were just, it was more chilling, and people were dancing, and just, I don't know, it was like, they were having more fun at their party than I've seen Americans have at our parties here. You know what I'm saying? And that didn't make sense to me at one level. But when I really thought about it, is that they're really with each other. They really take care of each other. They really have a positive sentiment towards each other. So within the tribe, within the community, you got thrive if your habits are to look at each other with support and appreciation, and to nurture each other and to lift each other up. Those people are gonna have the best outcomes in their life relative to their situation. Like you could have a tribe of 150 people, but they don't really take care of each other, but they're all really rich, and they're not going to be that happy, regardless of how much money they have. You know what I'm saying? You can have a group of people who really love each other and take care of each other, and they can have almost nothing, and they're going to be happy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, if you want to say what I think the biggest habit of tribe is that your primary frame, if we're going through the whole concept of frames, is
We're going to get on that.
Take care of each other. I mean, if that to me, if one of the lead things that you're thinking about, but see, here goes the thing about that. For it to be a tribe, you can't be the only one thinking that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
The whole tribe got to thinking, take care of each other. But if you're with a whole group of people and y'all are really on that tip of taking care of each other, you'll blossom. You'll blow up. You'll be the bomb. You'll get healthier. You'll be happier. But see, that's how you know how messed up our people are. You know what I'm saying?
Don't elaborate. I mean, you know, because we're both African Americans. We've both been dealing with some of the same struggles. I mean, you traveled. I traveled a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I've seen some of the subtle differences from your angle because my listeners, they hear me a lot. And for those that are listening to this, y'all got 2 days. This will be up for 2 days. This will be up for 2 days. I'm just telling them, John. This will be up for 2 days, and then I'm downloading this to the Gumroad site, and this is going exclusively to those that are doing the challenge, right? Because y'all really need to hear this, because I'm doing this so that we could build tribe. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Take care of each other, because it's both of us, John. I'm speaking to you. Been in situations where we go into situations and it be us talking about taking care. Then you got other people thinking about it's about me. You got other people talking about it's about the money. You got the players that's talking about it's about the pussy or the dick. So elaborate on us as a people and developing these habits and some of the stuff that you notice that prevent us from moving up and out of the situation that we're in.
Well, I mean, look at my neighborhood that I live in right now. Like, I live in Germantown, and I live kind of on the edge. There's a part of Germantown that has some old money, some real old money in the city of Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying?
Slave money?
like people that got some of that old school money, like they've been rich for like a 300-year type of
Wow.
situation. You know what I'm
Okay. Slave money.
saying? Yeah, probably so.
All right.
Um, and then you got another group that's one of the a poor black neighborhood that's like maybe like 2 blocks down the street. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I can just tell you because, I get a lot of my food on the black side. I do my shopping on the black side. But I mean, I go back and forth pretty much every single day that I leave the house. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's, like, for me, it's been almost like a story where I can watch 2 different sets of rats. You know what I'm saying? And to see what outcomes they're getting. And it's like, so I go on the side that I live on, which is the more whiter side, and you got people that are in their 70s and they're with their friends and they're riding bikes and they're running and they're walking, and it's like they're enjoying themselves, but they're out there and they're being fit and they're being healthy. And as they're getting older, instead of what is it when somebody gets, if you're 75 years old, I don't know, I'm not going out there and riding no bike, but if all your boys is out there and they're all 75, and they're like, you better get on that damn bike and let's go. You know what I'm saying? Guess what you're going to do? You're going to get on the bike and let's go. Meaning that you're going to be 75, and while other 75-year-olds are sitting there like waiting and their bodies are falling apart, you're still going to be you're still going to be strong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, isn't that enough? Like, do you want to be just strong the bits and break it down when you're 90 years old, or do you want to be like doing push-ups and being able to do like a full split, and like by the time the end catches you, you like, I'm ready. I did what I let them know who I was. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it just depends on what you want. I mean, because for me, and then here goes the other part. We are our parents, and our children are us. So, do you want your generations, like if you look at your life, do you want the generations that come, 300 years from now, do you want those, your great, how many greats there are, grandkids to think how you think, to be how you are, to have the same type of results that you want, or do you want them to have something better? And if you want to have something better, your kids are going to be, your kids are going to be more like you than anything else. So whatever you're thinking you want to propel your kids into, it's just, come on, man.
Word. Hold on.
It's not even a hard thing to see. Like,
right.
If you look at somebody and you meet their parents, for the most part, you have a good sense of what they're like from meeting their parents. Like, now, there's some people that say they have a good reason, like maybe they were abused, they had something difficult happen in life, and they say, you know what, there's no way I'm going to be like my parents. But then you still see a lot of them end up having parts of their parents in them because it's so hard not to have those patterns that you get from the time before you can even speak a word. You know what I'm saying?
Word. All right, but hold on for a second. I have to send shouts out to one of my sponsors. That's that G&J Fat Ambrosia. I'm about to pop the top. Oh, that sounds so good. I'm pouring some right now. I'm about to sip on some ambrosia while I have this intelligent talk. Now, the station that this is going to be on, of course it's going to be on Gye-Nyame Journey, but the name of the show that this will be labeled under will be an empire of our own. You know what I'm saying? We're talking empire building, nation building, tribe building, family building, personal development type stuff. So, of course, I have to bring that ambrosia into the conversation. So I'm going to sip on it. And, John, so now, next question. Unless you got another point you want to make about what you was just talking about.
No.
All right. So, we was talking about, because me and you had a conversation about framing. We started talking about framing. I was using a different language, but you brought up the term framing. Can you explain that to the people?
Let's say it again now.
Framing. Can you explain framing to them? The idea of
Oh.
framing. And how it fits with what we're talking about, habits.
I mean, to me, a frame is just the easiest way to say the fact that, like, a frame is a concept, it's a theory, it's an idea. In fact, every thought you have is a frame. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Every idea, every concept that you have is a frame. And when I say it's a frame, it's just a way of trying to make all of our ideas and trying to say, step back from it all. It's a frame, it's neutral. Because some of those ideas are going to be effective, are going to be more effective for your life. Some of those ideas are going to be less effective for your life. So, for example, you might have a frame that, like, men are not supposed to cry. But I call it a frame because while some people say that's true, there's a lot of people that will tell you that if you're a man and you feel a certain sadness and you want to cry, you're gonna make yourself sick by not actually crying. Like you're gonna actually injure your spirit by not actually getting that emotion out of you. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you say it's wrong or somebody else says it's right, that's the frame. The frame is really your particular angle. We all look at the world through our own angle, through our own bubble. But I like to call it bubble almost now. I would almost want to, and really I like to say narrative. But narrative is something I think that bothers people. You're saying that my beliefs are a story. You're saying that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but really, we got to keep it real with people, because we all have a story. We all have a myth. We all have a legend that we live by. And until we start looking at them in this perspective, we always going to get caught. I always get caught up in my own narrative, in my own story, and miss.
We do. You know what it is? It's because of stuff like religion. You know what I mean? Like, we have stuff that we just believe is right beyond anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if you're Muslim or if you're
You sound like you got
atheist.
allergies, man.
Yeah, I've been dealing with that.
Oh man, you need some of this ambrosia. That's what you need. But go ahead.
But certain things people don't want to say that what they believe. It's like, so I got a boy who's a very staunch Christian. And he's like, and I'm like, okay. He's like, oh, my Christianity's not frame. Christianity is the truth. And I'm like, I hear you. I say, okay. I got another boy who is Muslim, right?
Right. And he say that's the truth.
And he says that's the truth. But I live in the Asian community, so I got another boy who is Buddhist. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I come in, that's why I don't want to say story, because that's why, even though I do think it is a narrative, I say frame because I don't want to, I know that for people, their religion, for example, if you try to say your religion is just a story, you'll be in a fight, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I say frame because really, it's not really whether or not it's true or not, because even, I was raised a Christian, so I'm not even mad at Christianity, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I've studied enough different religions and different beliefs to know that there's overlap, but then there's places that we disagree about stuff. And since none of us can speak to the universal levels, We all have a frame. Just like if you're poor, you got a way that you look at the world. If you're rich, you got a way that you're looking at the world.
Right.
If you're middle class, you got a way that you look at the world. If you're black, if you're white, like every single part of you, if men look at the world a certain way, women look at the world a certain way. If you're a cop, if you're a drug dealer, you know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like all these things give you a set of frames, and the frames are your maps. When you lay over all, when you lay over your frames, over your life, to me, that's your map. You know what I'm saying? And then the question becomes, where is your map going? Do you like where your map is leading you?
And do you like the effects that the map is bringing?
Yeah. Now, mind you, because I mean, you might, for example, you might be it's like you might have been a star athlete in high school. You know what I'm saying? And you had all the love and all the props and all everything. You know what I'm saying? So you might be really comfortable with where your life is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, man, I used to be a star, and I still got the love and the respect I have, and I was a star.
Right.
And so, whether or not everything is perfect in your life,
Hello?
you feel fed enough in your life that you're cool with where you are. You know what I'm saying? My whole thing is for people who aren't cool, if you're not liking the way your life is going, and you want something to change, then what is it you need to change? And what you needed to change is you need to see, for example, what patterns, like if you want to be happy, for example, but everybody in your world, their whole pattern is they just want to complain about everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's people, I live with different families. Some families, they just like to complain about everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be just a person that wakes up in the morning and just feels happy, you may find that to be problematic when you're with a family who all they want to do is be mad all the time.
Right.
And so then, if you decide that you want to be happy, you might have to love your family from afar. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or at least, now that could be moving to the other side of the world, or it could be moving to the other side of the street. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you have to come to a place where you're like, all this whole energy of y'all being mad about all that stuff, miss me with that. Like, I'm going to do something different when y'all doing that. I'll come back when that's over. You know what I'm saying?
I'm listening. Go ahead.
Say what?
I'm listening. Stop all that sneezing, man. You need some of this ambrosia. You need to talk to your brother.
Oh, I'm coughing, man. I'm not sneezing.
Oh, okay.
I had a little bit of I'm getting over a little something with the allergies. But that to me is where we're getting, like, what's the map? Like when I think about it, most of the most brilliant brothers that I've met around the country, they're different situations where they're like an island, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like this, they got their own little circle that they're trying to perpetuate, but there's no collective of brothers where they're taking their powerful minds and then able to join forces like Voltron. You know what I'm saying?
You got, for those that, some of y'all young, for those that don't know, Voltron was a gigantic robot that was made up of many different parts. It was like 5 different people that would form Voltron, right? And they would have different vehicles and stuff, right? And so, and you know, so, hey, I hear you. form up like Voltron. You know.
But I think it's like instead of, because it's like to me, I mean, I was talking with my boy and we're talking about Michelle and Barack.
Mm-hmm.
And we were saying that like both Barack wouldn't be Barack without Michelle, and Michelle wouldn't be Michelle without Barack. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like, you know, you got a lot of people out here that I know, brothers and sisters, that be, you got a lot of brothers that be like, man, I'm Barack. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you got a lot of sisters like, I'm Michelle.
But they.
And I'm trying to tell them, I'm like, none of y'all keeping it real. Because the Barack state of mind is not just that I'm a smart black man. That's not the point. The intelligence of people is not even a question. The thing about it, just what my boy Steve said, which I think is real, is that Michelle came from the south side of Chicago, and that is one of the most violent places in America right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But she went to the Ivy League. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She got exposed to people that were coming from some of the wealthiest and most influential people in the world. So it got to a point where it's nothing for her to be around the wealthy and most powerful people in the world and still be elegant and calm and at ease, because that's been her normal world since she's been in her 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So what is Barack and Michelle? Barack and Michelle are two black people that put themselves on a journey of being exposed to all kinds of people and all kinds of ideas and all kinds of concepts that existed far outside of the world that they grew up in initially. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're not, because you're smart doesn't make you Michelle. Because you're smart doesn't make you Barack. But if you've been trying to go and link up with Asian folk and link up with Latino folk and seeing different cultures and really trying to become a worldly person, worldly in the sense that you're trying to engage people from different parts of the world, even if it's only within your own city, that you just have a sense of how somebody thinks outside of you. Because otherwise you'll be surprised when you meet people that think outside of you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, in fact, dude, when I moved from Connecticut to Ohio, it was a culture shock.
Explain. What you mean? I thought America was America except for the accent.
I mean, I went from being in Connecticut and being a person that was almost considered too easygoing. I mean, in a way where I was being critiqued for being too nice. You know what I'm saying? That same behavior, where I was too nice in Connecticut, I moved to Ohio and I'm too aggressive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, huh? I was completely confused because I was like, wait a second. I'm not too aggressive. I'm too nice. So I've been getting told for 22 years of my freaking life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when I moved to Ohio, they just had different patterns of behavior and different stuff that they thought about things. And so my behavior was considered in certain situations too aggressive, too confrontational. But I'm saying that because that's just how simple it can be. It's like your same attitude, you move to a different city, and you get, your whole attitude can be perceived in an entirely different way, just from going to a different city. Because each city has its own character. From my perspective, I mean, and this is just me coming from, okay, part of my background is that your listeners don't know, but you know, but I came from living in, born and raised in the state of Connecticut, spent almost 10 years living in Ohio, spent 5.5 years living in California, 3.5 years living in Texas, a year living in New Orleans, and now I've been living in Philadelphia for the last couple of years. Every region of this country has a different rhythm. I don't even have a preference. I've gone past a preference. I've lived so many places that I couldn't even tell you that I like one way more than another. There's advantages to every rhythm. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But there's definitely different rhythms across the country. Everybody doesn't flow in the same way. Which is a part of the reason why, by the way, I think really thinking about those patterns, because rhythm is a pattern. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just like New York, for example, to me. I understand how people do New York, but I will tell you, New York moves too freaking fast for me.
Me too. I don't even like going. I will go.
I was
don't even
taking
like going to
classes in Manhattan. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm going to Manhattan like 3-4 days a week. And
oh, we're gonna talk about those classes too. So go on, put a hashtag on that in your mind real quick. Go ahead.
But I'm just walking, and I'm walking at what I think is a good human pace for me. And it's like these people are just like
get the fuck out the way.
Walking so fast. I'm just like, for me to step up, it's like I'm almost getting myself winded so that I can walk in Manhattan at a reasonable pace. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I just felt like this energy of like, where's the fire? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But don't get me wrong, because I'm in New Orleans and I'm walking. And I'm like, are we trying to get somewhere? Are we actually trying to get somewhere? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, but I say this because I can't really say nothing against either one of those things. It's like, for me, it's just trying to find what my Goldilocks rhythm is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I don't want to feel rushed, but I don't want to feel like I'm not, getting anywhere in a reasonable period of time.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about entrepreneurship, because you got a lot of people talking about entrepreneurship, and the key word for those of us that's in the entrepreneurial world is hustle. You will not out hustle me. You will not wear me out. You know what I'm saying? I'm up before you. I stay up later than you. You know what I'm saying? How does a person finding their Goldilocks rhythm fit into a possible lifestyle? Because you and I both know that, well, I can't speak for you. I know that entrepreneurship is a direction that a lot of us need to go in. So how do you find your Goldilocks rhythm, but don't lose yourself in all of the hype of this hyper entrepreneurial out hustle? And you know what I'm saying? Like in Gye-Nyame, we say the hustle builds muscle. You know what I'm saying? How do you stay within your rhythm, stay comfortable without compromising to a point to where now you have to flow to other people's rhythm and things like that? How do you find that compromise?
I guess, I've been thinking about this. My whole goal, one of my primary goals is to be a filmmaker. You know this, and now you're listening now. Okay. I've had a thought about, and this is a thought about words and stories. And so I found myself reading this book about the film, doing the film and what the essence of a film is. And so this lady talking about the essence of a film is a race. See, narratively, I don't like that idea. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like the whole idea that a film is a race, I just think that puts you in a rushy kind of energy, and I don't think that rushing is like a way to find your way to master your excellence. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think that when you're talking about like if you're in a race, is one thing, but when you put other things in the context of a race, it's like You're not feeling relaxed like you can just take your time and think your way through. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like you're in the, oh, well, we better be hurrying up because we're in a race. At the same time, I've heard people talk about filmmaking being a war. It's a war. I don't want to be in that one either. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I understand the whole idea of like strategy and tactics. You know what I'm saying? But I still don't think that that's a story that puts you in a resourceful place in your mind. So for me, the term, and this is, I've been thinking about changing my film company to Laid Back Supernova Films.
You said
Because
laid back supernova film.
Laid Back Supernova.
Say it again.
Laid Back Supernova.
Who was that?
This is my concept. This is my concept, man.
Okay, go ahead.
This was, people want to talk about the hustle and, you know, how much energy you're putting. But my whole thing is these are like concepts. These are stories in our head. And so what story puts you in the most powerful place? And what I realized for me, the first most powerful place that I chill in, my power animal is the tortoise. So taking my time, not going fast, not going slow, but using that Goldilocks space, like as fast as I can go, that will allow me to still be calm, relaxed, and efficient. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But when I'm in that space is what unleashes my most powerful attributes of myself. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and that's when I think about when I told you when we were talking about this whole thing on the autopilot. You put me in a good, healthy rhythm, and that rhythm is on autopilot, and so then I'm relaxed and I'm taking my time, and within that space, I am my most explosively effective as a person. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Laid back supernova. If I'm gonna blow up like a supernova, I gotta do it in a relaxed way. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But what is that really? That's still going back to Wu Wei, supreme action, supreme inaction, right?
Right.
It's just my way to master it, but it's like, I guess when I think about my power animal being a tortoise, it doesn't feel I guess it's like when, and I'm thinking this like to the rabbit and the hare, it feels like a lot of people just like, if you're not being conscious of taking your time to plan out things and to, you know, and to be strategic, it feels like you're being the rabbit. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But the rabbit can run fast, but where does it? But is it gonna beat you in the race? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The rabbit's like, yeah, it could. If the rabbit was just gonna be 100 meters and y'all going, but the rabbit think, you know what? I don't even gotta worry about this 100 meters. The tortoise is going so slow. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends, smoke some weed. I'm gonna go try to hit on this chick I knew, but you know what I'm saying? All these other different things. Then, oh shit, I'm super fast, but the tortoise is about to cross the finish line because I've been over all around doing this other stuff instead of just focusing on the race. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that to me, that's like the rabbit to me. It's like, for the rabbit to become effective, he's got to learn how to take. See, the rabbit is incredible because the rabbit has energy, but the rabbit, to master the energy, I think, has to become a tortoise. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So this power.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey,
This power animal thing. How do people find out their power animal?
Well, I did it there in Ohio. I actually spent some time studying with the Lakota Indians and going to the sweat lodges, and as a stranger that mentioned to some people, but, you know, had some visions, and my visions really led me to the tortoise as a power animal. Matter of fact, I went to the sweat lodges that I went to was in Chillicothe,
Okay.
Dakota Indians,
Yeah.
and that was some deep shit, boy. Whew.
Oh,
You
yeah.
already know how deep the sweat lodge is.
Oh man, hey. You know, I do my thing. I get around just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Get around just a little bit. I've been blessed in life to be able to experience some of these things. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I know the power of the sweat lodge. You know what I'm saying? Hell, it's incredible. I was introduced to it by one of my elders. You know what I'm saying? So let me check the time real quick because I try to keep these shows up under an hour. We a little bit over an hour, so y'all make sure that y'all listen in because John is going to be on a few more podcasts because every time he come up with some interesting information, I'm gonna try to get him on. You know, sometimes I gotta wrestle with him to get him on and stuff. But hey, you know, once I get him used to it, it's gonna be second nature, and we could really just jump right down into our conversations. Now, Brother John, do you have a reading list? If you could give people 3 books right now for them to read, not even having to deal with this subject, what 3 books would you tell people to pick up?
Outside of habit stacking?
It could be. Habit stacking don't even have to be one of them. If somebody was really looking for a read that they could actually apply and change their life, out of all the books you read, if you had to pick 3 to subscribe to, right? What 3 would you subscribe, or prescribe to?
There's a book called "You Are Not Your Brain" by Jeffrey Schwartz and Rebecca Gladding.
Okay.
And that goes into like kind of like what are your mental habits? You know what I'm saying? It's basically saying that like you are not your brain. It's like you have through whatever you've been through in your life, you have developed mental habits. Some of those habits are good habits. Some of those habits are bad habits. And it's really trying to get you to like change your mental habits so that you can feel good in your life. But it's a really good book.
All right. Book number 2. That was me. Don't worry about it.
A book called Mindfulness by Mark Williams and Danny Penman, and it's just a book about meditation.
Okay. And what's the name of that book again?
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness. Okay. And book number 3.
And there's a book about neurosemantics called Secrets of Personal Mastery by Michael Hall.
Neurosemantics. Oh man, we gotta get into. I forgot. Oh man, he was telling me some stuff about neurosemantics. Y'all got to come back because we're gonna have this conversation a little bit more. But hey, we're gonna cut this show off here, and me and John will continue our conversation. But I just wanted y'all to get a taste of who I try to surround myself with when I'm doing Nation Book. Now y'all gonna meet some more other people because the important element of you becoming and moving towards your greatness is the people that you surround yourself by. And this is like, in a sense, I would call him the librarian of the crew because he's constantly updating his catalog of information. And when he calls, he's one of those people, I don't know if y'all have in your life where you know, I won't even pick up the phone if I don't have the time to talk because I already know he's going to drop something. So every now and then he'll send me a text about something to look up, like he sent the text neurosemantics. You know what I'm saying? So boom, I'm looking up neurosemantics because I'm constantly looking for ways that I could send those people that's listening to I'm constantly looking for new information for you because I don't want us to get stuck in a frame or get stuck in a narrative that no longer fits where we are. So we constantly got to be willing to grow. That don't mean we can't develop traditions, because traditions are important. But we want to develop the traditions. We don't want the traditions. We don't want to be stuck in old traditions that no longer work, as we see happening all throughout our community. You know, I don't know if John would agree with that, but you know, I honestly believe there's a lot of traditions, politically, economically, emotionally, intuitionally, physically, mentally, that we are stuck in that no longer serves any purpose. At one point they were major for our survival, but right now they no longer are. So I'm looking for people that can always break the egg that I'm in, crack the egg so that I can hatch and move into a bigger egg, right? And then crack it again and keep moving. And I'm gonna keep sharing that information with you. John, you got any closing words you got for the people?
Even when you say tradition, like, I agree with you, tradition, because what is a tradition? What are traditions? I mean, a tradition is another way of talking about a habit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A tradition is another way of talking about a pattern, which is another way of talking about a system, which is basically saying that, like, we have to be conscious of whatever things we do repetitively. Because that's going to produce the results that become what is our life. Habituation.
Becoming conscious of what we practice.
Yeah, because and you know what that is? Is that life should be a conscious practice, because you are practicing. Regardless of whatever you're doing, you are practicing something. You're getting up and you're eating. You're practicing good eating and you're practicing unhealthy eating, but you're practicing one of them. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're practicing, you're moving around, and you're moving in a way that is healthy for a human being, or you're moving in a way that is unhealthy for a human being and making your body have more health problems. But you're practicing movement. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Unless you're in a coma. So you're practicing regardless. It's just a matter of, do you want to be conscious of what you're practicing and try to refine it and develop it and evolve it and become a master of your life? Or you're going to let whatever happens, happens, and then whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Right. And which is a lot of ways, you know, in many ways, how many of us live our lives.
Pretty much. I mean, I would say most people, almost all.
I call it, I mean, it's
not
like...
if you use it the right way, it's not even a bad thing.
Right. I mean, so all this stuff is tools that we can use to improve on who we are.
Yeah.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's just becoming conscious, becoming awake about the tools that we use. So,
you're going to practice one way or another, so why not choose what you want to practice?
Hone it and get it to where we want. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? So regardless of whether or not you're doing something, you're doing something. You may not be conscious of what it is that you're doing, but you're doing something. You're developing certain habits, whether you know it or not. The question is, do you want to be conscious of the habits that you are forming? Do you want the habits to control you, or do you want to control the habits? I guess habits fit into the category like imagination. You know what I'm saying? Imagination is an excellent servant, but a horrible master. And I'm through this conversation, I'm starting to understand that habits are like imagination. They are a wonderful, powerful servant, but they are a terrible and dreadful master. And I'm like, yo, where you want to be?
Yeah, because you're getting what you got. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
Like, your habits are just coming from where you grew up and who you knew growing up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you got all their strengths, but you also got all their weaknesses. But what if you want to build more strengths and weaknesses? Then you're going to have to develop habits different than the ones you already got.
You mean I got to work? You mean I can't just... I just can't microwave this. You know, you don't got no microwave or no shortcuts for us, John.
I'll tell you what. I know this from personal experience. Being stressed out is a lot of work.
Yeah, I agree.
It's a lot of work.
But
As a person who's been very anxious and stressed out for a good portion of my life, that's a lot of work, boy.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that? All right, so me and John are about to get up off of this. I want to say thanks to those that took the time to listen. This will be up. Imani, Emoja, and until Kuji Chagalia at 9 p.m. when we drop Folk Tales for Grown Folks. Because I owe y'all a show because I didn't do it last week. Alright? So I'm out. Thank you for those that took the time to tune in. I know it wasn't live. I want to do this one in private. I want to drop it. It's going to be an exclusive. I'm going to have to do a blog post on it real quick because I'm about to post it up. All right, peace.